So the thing I was talking to you about earlier was, I brought it up to a friend a while back, and we were saying how the NBA does like their season ticket holders.
Yeah.
And as far as that goes, like what if they put like a robot like right there in the front row, right? And then me, you, and 200 other people buy season tickets for that VR spot.
And you get to watch that.
You get to watch the game courtside while you're sitting on the couch.
You get to stream that. Yeah, you get to stream that. That would be dope.
That'd be sweet, right? And I was thinking, because they're talking about, I was listening to Spain and Company earlier today, and she was talking about like people coming back and being just the loudest fans in certain sections of the stadium. Maybe because we talked about for baseball, you know, the whole let's experiment with it. We're never probably going to get a short season like this, like another opportunity or anything like that again. So why not?
Yeah, this is the opportunity for every sport right now to kind of experiment with shit they want to try.
Right.
Like potentially the NBA could say, you know what? We're just going to take the top 16 teams. We're not even going to go east-west. Top 16 teams, you know, if you're number 17, sorry, you don't make the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it is. But, I mean, it'd be kind of sweet to – it's like –
yeah.
Because that league pass is already, like, cool to have. Like, if you do, like, fantasy basketball or if you're a Bulls fan like me and you don't get to see your team a lot on TV, but pay, like, another extra $500, man, and you're there. Like,
that would be cool.
That'd be so sweet, man. It'd be kind of weird, though, like, if you're at the game, though, right? It'd be, like, sitting there with, like – I don't know if you have them there, but we're different neighborhood areas. We're the big, crazy robot-looking police cams where it's just, like it's basically just a generator sitting there with a small camera on it. It's so silly. Just imagine that sitting next to Jack Nicholson at a Laker game.
Dude, what if they did that for MLB, but they had it set up in like, let's say,
you can put it anywhere, like right there, like in the dugout.
What if you had it? Well, not in the dugout. What if you had it like right behind home plate?
Mm-hmm.
You had one. First base dugout side, third base dugout side, right center, like kind of right field, left field, and you could kind of switch.
Yeah, right at the corner.
Yeah, and you could kind of switch between cameras depending on who's up to bat and what you wanted to see.
Yeah,
like you know, if you're watching, let's say you're watching the Astros play and Verlander's pitching, you're like, no, I want to watch behind home because I want to see what it looks like, you know, with him throwing.
Yeah, see how it moves and things like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But say you're watching the Angels, and it's like, you know what? Nah, I want to watch left center field so I can see Simmons, Trout, and Rendon.
How they react to the ball and things like that.
Yeah. Like,
yeah, dude, I'm with it. That'd be sweet.
That. Yeah.
That'd be cool. It was just a fun thing to think about, especially with like the hiatus and things like that going on in basketball right now. So, yeah, that brings us to my next question I had for you. Who do you think, as far as this hiatus goes, is benefiting the most from this little hiatus? I know I threw a few names at you the other day, but let's like do like a little mini top 5 for just to throw a bonus top 5 into this podcast.
Mini top 5.
No particular order. I mean, we don't got to get too crazy with it, but just.
I actually wrote mine in order.
Oh, did you? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't even write. I wrote I have like 3 off the top of my head.
I came up with 5 off the top of my head. I know one of ours is going to be the same. So I'm going to throw out a couple of them. I think Miami had some injuries. Well, both Miami and the 76ers had some injuries there towards the end. And I feel like this is really big for them. Get Embiid healthy, get Simmons healthy. And I know Butler was a little dinged up. He was still playing. And, I mean, as it sat, Miami was the number 4 seed in the East.
Yeah.
And I like the way they played. So you get them healthy, and I thought that was going to be good for them.
That kind of rolls over to my other one as far as health goes. And that's kind of my glaring blemish as far as me thinking I know what I'm talking about when it comes to the NBA is I was real high on the Blazers all year. And they've just been nicked up too much to get any continuity going, man. And when Dame's healthy, he is balling, man. Like
he's arguably the best point guard in the league
this year for sure. Yeah, I agree. And they just can't get it together, man. They can't stay healthy. Melo's actually playing better than people would think, man.
Yeah.
Like, he's got his little streaky moments, but it's not nearly as bad as you would expect.
Mhm.
CJ McCollum has shown he can't carry the team, and then when he gets a little bit of traction going, he gets hurt too.
Yep. I mean, Rodney Hood got hurt. Nurkic is still kind of
he's still hurt. Whiteside's always kind of had his issues, and he still does here. So on paper, man, I was super, super excited for that team, and that kind of takes me into like what you were saying with the Heat. Is one of my teams would probably be the Grizzlies because they don't have to worry about the Blazers getting healthy and maybe making a push for that 8 seed, or Zion has just before all this craziness happened, he really caught the league on fire and was just storming, man. Like they were winning a lot of games if I remember correctly. Other than to like top seeded teams, and they were playing even like the Lakers really, really close.
Yeah, that game was really close for a long time. Now, to that point, I actually have the Trailblazers up there because I feel like if they get a Dame back healthy, and I think they're going to have to play some games before they just jump into the playoffs.
Yeah, but I think they might stick to the seeding is what I heard, is that the seeding is set, but it's just to kind of get a little more revenue going for those other teams.
Really? I was wondering if they would just have to get players back acclimated to actually playing.
It's like a bowl. It's like a pre-postseason like we talked about before.
Okay. So, well, if the games don't matter, then the Trailblazers are up there. But I was thinking if the games actually mattered, like you look at the Grizzlies and the Pelicans, and they're 2 young teams. So having this layoff could be a huge momentum shift for them in the wrong way.
Right.
Whereas the Trailblazers get healthy and they know how to win because, I mean, they were the 3 seed or the 2 seed last year, right?
It's so crazy. It's so crazy. And it seems like they got better, but apparently they just got caught that bug, man.
Yeah. My other one is the Lakers. I think that they take it just because they're an older team.
Yeah, other than like Anthony Davis. And Anthony Davis has had his injury concerns most of his career too.
And even this season, he's missed some games this year. Yeah. But man, you get LeBron James some rest. He's never had rest going into the playoffs.
Almost never, man. And the dude, every year it's what? He's gonna play less minutes. He needs more guys around him so he can just play a few less minutes, and then he ends up leading the league in minutes every year. Yeah. Breaking his own record the following year.
Yep. And you give that man some rest going into the playoffs with that team that already looked like the best team in the NBA. Pretty good.
Yeah, and they were rolling.
Yeah, and the other team, this is one I really want to talk about because you brought it up, and it makes a lot of sense, is the Nets.
Yes, dog. For either one we talked about, whether they have meaningful games as far as the Blazers argument goes, or on the other side, if it isn't meaningful games as far as the Grizzlies go, because you get KD back, man, in a weak East, no LeBron, no Kawhi. If they're the 7th seed now, so they don't got to play Milwaukee, so he doesn't have to worry about playing Giannis until the end of the Eastern Conference. Bro, people forget how good this man Kevin Durant is, dog. Like, this dude was like, he was like, before that injury, man, he was like the one flirting with the crown, or if you want to call it that, as far as best player in the league, taking over LeBron's spot. Then he got hurt, and then Kawhi does his thing in Toronto, and now everybody's on the Kawhi train. And now
he's hurt.
And now everybody's on the Giannis train. Yep. Man, Kevin Durant was balling that whole playoff series, man. Most of that, when they were playing in the Cavaliers, most of the rest of the team was like either a little nicked up or they were just not shooting well at all.
Yeah.
And this dude was just burning LeBron all game, man. Like just shooting right in his face. Couldn't do nothing about it. Slashing on him. He was killing it, man.
I think the other part of that is, too, though, I just don't get how it's going to work with him and Kyrie.
Me neither. And, yeah, I agree.
And I think that's part of it is I just – like, I didn't understand the Nets going after Kyrie. I really liked their backcourt trio they had.
Yeah, their little nucleus they had the year before was good, man. With
Russell and Dinwiddie and Chris LeVert.
Yeah,
I like that three. I like that 3-man group there. And then you add a Kevin Durant and a DeAndre Jordan, and I feel like that's just so much scoring that you have to worry about there.
Yeah, it's a deep team, man.
And they made it work between the 3 of them last year. Kyrie Irving he's
always so weird, man. He brings so much like just toxic energy. It seems like whether it's him or the media or what, but. It always just feels like it's the Kyrie show, and I feel like that's why Kevin Durant left Golden State, right? Because it was the Steph Curry show. which is different because Curry'd been there his whole career and had been, quote unquote, the Michael Jordan or the Dwayne Wade of Oakland.
Yeah.
Where he'd been there and gotten their chip and been like the face of the franchise. Whereas Kyrie's kind of just a guy, man. He's gotten bounced around since Cleveland, and I don't know, man. I don't like him there either. And that's another thing, like you said, that this break brings is it brings it takes some of that focus off of them. Like if they get bounced from the playoffs, I mean, obviously they don't have a lot of pressure on them now, and Kyrie was hurt.